Let's take a few moments to just prepare ourselves to enter into a time of prayer for ourselves, for our families, our friends, our community, the world. Let you know about a few things that are going on that we need to hold in our hearts. Last Saturday, I had the wonderful joy and the privilege to be invited to share in a time of celebration and marriage with two women by the names of Wendy and Alice. And several of us here know Wendy and Alice quite well. They have been involved with the LGBTQ games nights and coming down here regularly on the Thursday nights when we have them in here in the hall. They together they farm out in Maitland. You'd have to have a road map to find their place. And that's good. They have a beautiful place out there with gardens, and they're just an energetic couple. So we kept it very quiet, their wedding, because they said if they had a wedding, there would probably be 400 people there. So there was only Philip and myself and Alice and Wendy and probably, maybe 15 other people that gathered at their home last Saturday. And so we celebrated, and the pictures they posted on Facebook were absolutely beautiful. And then Friday morning, Alice died. She had been suffering with cancer, and so she died early Friday morning. And the joy of last Saturday is intermingled with the tears and the sadness of her death. And so we surround Wendy and her family and Alice's family and the wider community that their lives have touched with love and comfort and support. We also, as we gather here within this faith community, since the last time we were gathered here in worship, we acknowledge the death of Florence Corcoran. And Florence usually sat at the back there, just about, we're almost kind of between where Nina and Brock are. And she was intimately involved with this congregation and a founding member of this congregation, as well as the Mount Pleasant United Church. And so I will gather with Billy and his family and a few close friends next weekend for a service of burial in Mount Pleasant. So we hold Billy and the family and her circle of friends in our hearts and our love and our care. And we give thanks to God for the blessings of life and the gift of faith that Florence had and shared among us all. This past week, I was involved with 3 different funeral services. Monday, I joined the family of John Willis of Bridgewater for a burial in service in Pinehurst. Yesterday morning, I was in Petite to share in a time of remembrance and burial for Wilson Richards. Linda is a member here of the congregation, and so we gathered there. And Thursday afternoon, I gathered with Lila and her close circle of friends here to remember and to honor her husband Bill, who died earlier this year. The roses are from his service this week. And this week, also tomorrow, is when Lila is packing her final bag. Is it tomorrow, Lila? Someday? This week. Lila has sold her house in Bridgewater and is moving west to be closer to family. And so as we hold Lila and we grant you a safe journey and to go with our blessings and surround you with our love and give thanks for the time that you've been spending with us. It's been a joy and it's been a privilege. So thank you for being here, and thank you for being here today, and we share in your time of loss, and we also offer you our blessings for your journey. And also this morning I'd like to share with you, and I have permission to share this, is some words about the health condition of Betty Meisner. Betty has been admitted to hospital this week with some very serious and uncertain medical conditions. I was called in on Friday to see her in the hospital, and it's uncertain of what or how serious it is, but I know the family have been attentive to her, and the family to hold Betty in your hearts and send her positive energy, thoughts, and love, as well as her family. We also hold in our hearts the wider community of our Indigenous brothers and sisters and the continual strife that is being witnessed within the fisheries of Nova Scotia. And we hold that tension and care in our hearts. We hold in our prayers the places across Canada that are increasingly seeing numbers of COVID-19 cases increase, as well as close as New Brunswick. And so when we talk about loving our neighbors as ourselves, we hold on to the ways in which we care for ourselves and how we can protect ourselves, but also when we protect ourselves and care for ourselves, we care for those around us too. So we hold the entire parts of this pandemic locally, within our bubble, across our country, and around the world in our prayers, in our thoughts, and give us the courage to continue to move forward in a very safe and hopeful way. Are there other places, people, that we need to hold in our thoughts and our prayers?
Neil, I would like to share a celebration. Yesterday, Isabel Bush turned 100.
So Isabel Bush turned 100 yesterday.
And Mona Corcoran turns 89 today.
And Mona Corcoran turns 89 today. Wonderful. What a joy. Thank you for sharing those two things. Other words, other prayers that we need to hold on to, or celebrations. Let's hold all that we've heard and join our hearts together in prayer. Sometimes, oh God, we don't know what to say. We're not sure what we need to pray for or how we can pray. So together we just offer a big, deep sigh. And within those sighs, there are our thoughts, our love for others, our love for ourselves, and love for others around the whole creation. We depend on you, O God, as people of faith, in our times of need and distress, and sadness, and grief, and loss, and pain, and hurt, and uncertainties. So we offer all of those pieces that have been shared in our midst and that we're holding in our hearts today into your tender, loving care. And ask you to help us to deal with them, to live with them, and to work through our sadness, our grief, our loss, our pain, our suffering, our uncertainties. We depend on you, O God, in times of celebration as well. And we give thanks that all that is being celebrated can be intermingled with the heartache and our pains. Help us to find that balance, not to let one overwhelm the other or hide the other, but give us the courage to let them be intermingled and balanced. Help us to look each day for the positive around us when the negative seems overwhelming. Help us to find the courage within ourselves to look at situations that we are most intimately involved with, find a way to move forward. To move forward with hope and with optimism. The courage that we possess is within us, O God, and it's your Spirit that moves within us and guides us, that inspires us in those difficult times. Help us today to celebrate community. Help us to celebrate the communities in which we live, whether it's in our own neighborhood or the communities of people that surround us each day at work, in our time of leisure, in our vacations, in our circle of friends. Help us to remind ourselves that what a blessing it is to be connected with others. And even in these difficult times, help us to maintain the ways in which we do connect with others, whether it's through social distancing, contacting, or through other forms of media, either Messenger, FaceTime, Skype, or the telephone. We celebrate the ways in which we can maintain connections. And to affirm that we are not an isolated one, but a group of many. And we celebrate we are together. Help us to also realize that the circle we have formed around us is not a circle that's meant to be closed, but a circle that's meant to be open, where fluidity between new contacts and old friends can intermingle together. Help us to find ways to connect in new ways with new people. And let other people find ways to be connected with us. As we gather in worship on this day, we give thanks for those that are with us in our midst today, and those that will be listening to this service at a later time. May we all feel and know the blessings of your love and your presence, O God. Through our words, through our deeds, and through our expressions of faith and living out of the gospel. May others come to know your love as much as we do, and your presence, and the gift of your blessings. We offer into your keeping, O God, the prayers of our hearts, the prayers of our minds, the prayers that have been spoken, and the prayers that have been held within those sighs that are just too deep for words. And we offer them to you in the name of Christ, the one who inspired us to offer our prayers to you, O God, our Mother, our Father, who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Melita will share with us a minute for mission today.
So I looked through my book and to find one. Maybe I would do a different one. But then I looked up to this one for today, and I had to read it. It's called We Love Our Ministers. And I do. The Reverend Bronwyn Corlett shares this reflection. When my father was sick, the minister visited. The minister didn't stay long, just long enough to let us know we were cared for, thought of, and prayed for. We were not alone. After I was in a car crash, I visited my minister to share my fear, anxiety, and confusion. My minister listened and asked questions. Not too many. Just enough to let me know I was heard. I was okay, and I was prayed for. I was not alone. Our ministers are present in the big moments. Baptisms and funerals. Weddings and divorces. Celebrations and crises. They are there in the everyday moments. visiting, witnessing, and walking with us. They remind us of God's presence while we wrestle with life, faith, and love. Ministers are not perfect or infallible. They each have different gifts from God and are called to unique service. We say thank you to our ministers. Thank you for the sermons, the prayers, and the visits. Thank you for the times when you leave your own families to sit with someone else's. Thank you for your leadership and your late nights. Thank you for answering God's call and living it out in the United Church of Canada. Thanks to our gifts for mission and service, ministers are supported through training at theological schools and education centers and through continuing education. If mission and service is already a regular part of your life, thank you so much. If you have not given, please join me in making mission and service a regular part of your life of faith. Loving our neighbor is at the heart of our mission and service. Thank you.
We celebrate the gifts that we offer to the Mission Service Fund. That transpires our gifts to the whole of God's creation. The Mission Service Fund offers ministry in many places where we cannot go, or we don't have the gifts and talents to do it. The Mission Service Fund finds those people to go into the world, to spread the good news and the message of God's love on our behalf. For the gifts we offer to the Mission Service Fund. For the gifts that we offer to our congregation here that supports not just the ministry in this building, but the ministry that we offer to our community. We give thanks. For the gifts that you offer, through your time, through your talents, through your treasures, we give thanks that we're able to share a portion of our blessings with the others in God's world. For all the gifts we offer, each and every day, let's offer these words as a prayer of dedication. We offer to you, O God, the work of our hands, the love of our hearts, the fruits of our labors, trusting that they will be used to make a difference in the lives of others. Amen. I invite you to join with me in our closing prayer. Holy One, Creator and Spirit of life, we thank you for the gift of this day and this gathering of your people. Continue to teach us, reach us, and nourish us. Send us forth to walk, to talk, to write, to live your message of peace in every corner and through all the lands.